the window closed yesterday on having 90 guys on the roster, as we've previously said. The Patriots, when I first saw that Bailey Zappe had been waived, I thought, wow, they must really like Malik Cunningham. And then I saw, no, Malik Cunningham also has been waived, leaving the Patriots with one quarterback on the roster. Michael McCorkle-Jones, the only quarterback on the 53-man roster for the New England Patriots. I assume they'll have two when they start their season against the Eagles, although it's already sparked people to say in mostly jest, well, Tom Brady is coming back to be honored that day. Maybe he'll be the other quarterback for week one. Highly, highly, highly unlikely, but of all the guys, look, if this falls into that category, this is the Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, Frankenstein monster, offensive coordinator category. If anybody else did this, we would be laughing our asses off and saying, what an idiot for having one quarterback on his 53-man roster, even if it is temporary. Bill Belichick does it, and the attitude is, oh, Bill's got a plan. Bill will be fine. He'll bring in somebody that's never been part of that offense before, and they'll just be fine. And everything will be fine. And we know that, it hasn't been as fine as it used to be, but he still gets that benefit of the doubt. When you think about it, you got Bailey Zappe, Malik Cunningham, offseason program, training camp, preseason, and they're just gone now. And who's going to be the backup to Mac Jones? Who's going to walk through the door and know the offense? Are they going to trade for Brian Hoyer? What the hell are they going to do, Chris?
That's where I don't know. I've thought about that. Yeah, is Brian Hoyer? But what are the Raiders? They're gonna let Aiden O'Connell, a rookie, be the backup to Jimmy Garoppolo, who's got an injury history. I just have a hard time believing that. I've racked my brain of wait, Billy O'Brien? Is there somebody I'm missing when he was in Houston or anybody like that could possibly be a backup option here, right? I mean, I've done all that. I don't know where they go. I does not feel like this is going to be a Bailey Zappe bring him back on the roster type of move, Mike. I don't know. I haven't talked to enough people about this subject yet, but I don't get that sense here. So I don't know what your spidey senses or your pasta and meatballs tell you there. But, yeah, this was a little bit of a shocker. And you look out there, and, yeah, there's some guys available. But like you said, it's nobody that you go, wait, there's history or they know the offense and they can get in here. And if Mac Jones hurt his ankle week one and was out for 3 series, this guy could come in and run the offense. There's nobody that hits you in the face like that. That's where it's shocking.
Both guys, Zappe and Cunningham, will have to go through waivers and could be claimed. I mean, Zappe played last year.
Yeah.
Someone could claim him, and then he would be on their active roster, and it won't be an issue as to whether or not he'd come back on the practice squad. I think your instincts are right, though. I think Zappe's gone. I think it's done. My first reaction was Bill O'Brien hates Bailey Zappe. Hates him.
Yeah. I don't know about
hates
that. I don't want to say
that's
hate,
why.
But yeah.
Bill O'Brien is capable. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's not a bad emotion. Hatred is part of what makes the world go round. It's the opposite of love.
Yeah.
But he's like, this guy's not my guy. This guy, to kind of paraphrase Frank Costanza, this guy is not my kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't want him here.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because it wasn't that long ago, Bill Belichick refused to shoot down the idea that Jones and Zappe were competing for the starting job, for crying out loud.
Well,
so
he knows Mac Jones.
Cunningham.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
If Cunningham clears waivers, Cunningham comes back onto the practice squad.
Right.
But you still need a backup. And, Chris, I'm looking at the Texans starters when Bill O'Brien was there. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick is still retired. He's not coming back. Case Keenum is out there. He's got a slim connection to Bill O'Brien.
That's what I thought of.
You've got yeah. I mean, you got Brock Osweiler. He and Bill O'Brien. They're not that.
That ain't happening.
That's the Bailey Zappe thing. He hated Brock Osweiler, and Brock Osweiler hated him. And it's quite possible Bailey Zappe and Bill O'Brien had that same kind of relationship. But I mean, other than Deshaun Watson, A.J. McCarron, Tyrod Taylor, T.J. Yates, there's not much out there by way of somebody who knows O'Brien and could come in and quickly get up to speed.
No, that's where, I couldn't come up with anybody. Case Keenum was in my brain, but I don't envision, rookie quarterback in Houston and that situation. I would think they're going to stay with the three there and Davis Mills and Stroud and Case Keenum, right? For a myriad of different reasons. But, yeah, I mean, Colt McCoy is out there. That's a guy that makes sense. Trevor Siemian, at least they're seasoned. But, yeah, it's, again, knowledge of the offense. I don't know. And, I came back to a little bit of what you're saying. I don't know Billy O'Brien's personal feelings about Bailey Zappe, but like you said, he's a tough SOB. I never really thought Bailey Zappe was a New England type of quarterback. You know that. New England has never been, let me get the quarterback who's small, unathletic, and has a weak arm to be my guy. That's not who they are. No, they get Phil Simms, Vinny Testaverde, Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady, big dudes who sit in a pocket and go, I could throw this ball through the wall. I'm going to do that, right? And that's where he never made sense to me. And then I think, so there's that aspect, and I think Billy O'Brien likes that guy I'm talking about, that big pocket passing, talented quarterback. And then Bailey Zappe didn't do well in the preseason this year. If anybody really watched, it wasn't good. It wasn't good physically. It wasn't good, great decision-making. The last two preseason games, he threw for under 50%. It's almost kind of hard to do that when you've played football in the NFL a little bit and you're in preseason game 2 and 3. So, I think on the field, it might have justified it a little bit, but the situation is what makes it weird, and I don't know where they're going to go from here, Mike.
Yeah, it's a strange situation. Matthew Slater, who's been with that team forever, he said yesterday that the decision is surprising to a lot of us. And if it's surprising on the inside, it should be shocking on the outside. And that's part of it, too. How do you sell this to your players? How do you get them on board with it? Because last year there was at least a little something between Zappe and Mac Jones. When Mac Jones was injured, I think Zappe was kind of the pawn in the broader fight between Bill Belichick and Mac Jones last year as well.
Right.
But the fans started to get behind Bailey Zappe. And they had that weird night. Was it the Monday night game against the Bears?
Yes.
When Mac was in, then Bailey's in, and Mac didn't come back, and it was all just weird. And Belichick eventually said, the hell with this. Mac is my guy. He's going to play, regardless of whatever was going on behind the scenes. It just is a mess. And others who are available, Will Grier, now signing with the Bengals practice squad doesn't take him out of play. He could be signed to anyone else's active roster. That's always been part of this. You're not off the shelf completely, but it has to be active roster, not practice squad. And where's the connection? Is there any reason to think that Bill O'Brien, Bill Belichick would want Will Grier? Nick Foles is available. Carson Wentz is available. That would be something if Carson Wentz went to New England. But they got to do something. It can't just be Mac Jones. It won't just be Mac Jones when the Eagles come to town week 1. But whoever it is, most likely is going to be somebody who is really getting up to speed, crash course, unless they do dip into that well of guys. And there aren't many in that well who have familiarity with the O'Brien offense, familiarity with the Patriots to make the transition easier. Otherwise, he's just some guy who's showing up. We got 10 days. Get ready. You're number 2 to Mac Jones. He sprains an ankle. He gets injured. He comes out for a concussion evaluation. You're in the game.
Yeah, that's what it is, a little crazy. And you've heard me say, right, to add to your point, New England's offense is different than most offenses in football, right? The quarterbacks that are available, for the most part, okay, maybe Tommy DeVito, who got cut by the Giants because he was with Brian Daboll, but for the most part, the names that we've mentioned, they've never called plays like the New England offense. So it's not like it's going to be like, oh, I've been in this system before, hey, they got, hey, Lion is Bengal and, Smoke is take a drag and whatever. Like it's all similar. No, this is going to be like, what? This is a totally different language altogether. And, whoa, they call formations that. That's where I don't know where it goes. And like you said, it's limited out there as far as the guys that have been a part of this, regime, tree, whatever you want to call it, as far as the quarterback position is concerned.
Many will say there aren't enough good quarterbacks to go around. Others will say there aren't enough bad quarterbacks to go around. The bottom line is there aren't enough quarterbacks to go around. And when you're trying with 10 days to go until your first game of the regular season to figure out who your backup is going to be, that is not an ideal situation for for the Patriots. We'll obviously continue to monitor it. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.